So, let's dive into the mystery around Apostle Peter's wife, right? The texts, they really leave us with so many unanswered questions.
It's fascinating. I mean, we know Peter was married because his mother-in-law is mentioned in Mark, but his wife gets zero spotlight.
Exactly. In Mark's
Yeah.
account, she's just a background figure. She's healed but never named, which is pretty intriguing if you think about it. And it speaks to a broader theme of silence around women in early Christianity.
True. And then we have Paul in 1 Corinthians mentioning the right for apostles to have a believing wife with them on journeys. That's a massive clue.
Right? It implies that not only was she alive, but actually traveling with Peter. That's super radical considering the times and social norms, right?
Yep. It almost paints her as a pioneer, a sort of early evangelist. But then, don't you think it's odd that she remains completely unnamed even with such a significant role?
Absolutely. And then there's the account from Clement of Alexandria, which is the most dramatic twist. He tells us that Peter, witnessing his wife being led to martyrdom, calls out to her by name, urging her to remember the Lord. That's a powerful and emotional moment.
It really is. But I have a bit of a challenge here. If she was such a key figure, shouldn't we have more textual evidence across apocryphal works and other writings, rather than her story being so barely sketched?
Fair point. And that's where the idea of intentional erasure comes in. Scholars like Karen Jo Torjussen and Elizabeth Schussler Fiorenza suggest that as the church became more patriarchal, stories of influential women like Peter's wife were, well, sidelined.
I get that. Right. And there's also the theory hinting at a Nazarene connection, suggesting that both Peter and his wife might have been part of a more ascetic, spiritually radical circle. That gives her role an added layer of complexity and devotion.
Yeah, it's like a secret narrative hidden in plain sight. Here's a woman who wasn't just a spouse, but potentially a committed missionary and a martyr in her own right. Yet we're only left with whispers about her.
It's almost tragic, really. The nurturing and contributing figures in early Christianity are almost erased, only to be mentioned in passing.
Exactly. And this silence speaks volumes about the historical biases embedded in the texts. Biases that still make us question whose voices are remembered and whose are forgotten.
Yeah, that's a strong point. All in all, it appears Peter's wife was much more than just a background detail. She was, in fact, a vital part of the early church's fabric, a dedicated believer whose story was almost erased in the mainstream history due to cultural and theological agendas.
Right? And digging into these clues forces us to reconsider the narrative of early Christianity. It's a reminder that history is often written by those in power.
Absolutely. It really makes you contemplate what other stories might be hidden in the margins of our religious texts.